Welcome to Hormone Health for Real Life. We're Jennah and Jen, and we are so glad you're here.
If you've been searching for answers, looking for hope, or wondering why your body isn't responding the way it used to, you're in the right place. We believe our bodies are designed to heal.
Remember that this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice.
Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to talk to you about some really interesting principles that come from traditional Chinese medicine. These principles offer some insight into our cyclical nature. What exactly does it mean to rotate your way to health?
Well, I like to think of it on such a small thing as like a week. I know that I feel completely different on Friday afternoon than I do on Monday morning, because different things are happening. Friday means the weekend is here. We get to play, we get to spend more time outside. Then Monday morning rolls around and I don't want to get out of bed some days. It means real life has started again. And you know what? I don't mind Mondays and I don't mind life. But I just know there's a very different energy on different days of the week.
I love Sunday because I know it's going to be my day to rest, rejuvenate, to journal, to be with my family, to attend church. I love the feeling of Sunday, but I love the feeling of Friday too. It's just very different. It's a natural cycle that we have. There are lots of other cycles, like, of course, the sun comes up every single morning in the east, and it sets every single evening in the west. That's an easy cycle that we see. And then we've got the moon phases, and we always know every month there's going to be a full moon and a new moon and all the sizes in between. Also the seasons, they come around every single year. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Each season feels very different. We know that in the middle of winter, we're not going to be out planting a garden. It's just different.
Different energies, but different projects, I feel like, with each time of year too.
The cycles and seasons, they're just a part of who we are. They're a part of life. We can even bring it into a more personal cycle, like our wake and sleep cycle. What time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up in the morning? What time do you normally get hungry? What time do you put your kids down for a nap? We all create these cycles and rhythms throughout our day. Why? Because they help things move more smoothly. And when we stick to these cycles, we're actually healthier. There's all sorts of ways that we can see cycles and rhythms in our lives. Some other cycles in the body are the women's menstrual cycle. For all of us, cell regeneration is happening all the time. This cycle of new growth and death, kind of like the life cycle of your cell. We live in this amazing world that God's created for us, full of rhythms and cycles. And so that's exactly what we want to talk about, is to learn to see some other cycles in your life that maybe you haven't noticed yet. As we rotate through these cycles, we can actually help increase the health and vitality of our bodies in a really fantastic, maybe a little bit different way than you've considered before.
Traditional Chinese medicine is based on the 5-element theory. Those 5 elements are water, wood, fire, earth, and metal, and they rotate throughout the year. So in the early spring, in February and March, we are in the wood element. Then we move into the fire element for April, May, June, and July, into the earth element for August and September, the metal element for October and November, and then the water element in December and January. All of the organ systems in our body fall under one of those elements. That means that they also rotate throughout the year. In order to support those different organ systems, we want to cook and eat differently each month. That's really the basis of what we're teaching today. As we rotate through these different foods, we give our bodies the optimal nutrition and support that they need to thrive. Even though each month we're focusing on one organ system, by supporting it that month, we're doing it good for the whole year. We take care of it that month, and then it treats us right the whole rest of the year as we help all the other organ systems.
We also know that if an organ system is struggling, then you can go to the nutritional support for that organ system any time of the year to help support it. The wood element, which is in February and March, affects the gallbladder and the liver. And then in April, May, June, and July, where it's the fire element, April, we're focusing on the heart. May, we're focusing on small intestine. June on reproduction, and July on the endocrine glands. We move to the earth element in August and September. So in August, we would focus on the stomach, and in September, we focus on the pancreas and the spleen. Then we move into the metal element in October and November. So October, we focus on the lungs, and November, the large intestine. Then the water element is in the wintertime in December and January. So in December, we focus on the bladder, and on January, we focus on the kidneys.
We have a beautiful chart that you can print out and hang on your wall that walks you through the months, the element, the organ systems, and the grains and seeds that best support those organ systems. Go to the show notes to download that. The first place we're going to go is we're going to talk about fruits and vegetables. We really want to eat them in their season. And I know that's different for all of us because we live in different areas of the country. So things that might be in season for me might be a month or two behind in other places in the country. But I think we all kind of have a pretty good idea of what's in season where we live. It really takes looking at it because honestly, I can walk into any grocery store in town and buy any fruit or vegetable that I want any time of the year.
Right. And that's exactly what we've gotten used to. If you want a watermelon in February, you might be able to find it. It's not going to taste great, but our grocery stores work really hard to have a wide variety of everything available to us because that's what we're used to. We've shifted from eating what's fresh and local and in season to eating whatever the grocery store can get us. In some regards, this is really a huge blessing because I love mangoes and bananas and oranges. They just don't grow where I live, but they ship really well. So we can get oranges from California and still have them pretty fresh because we do know how to ship and share foods, and that's great. But also not ignoring the fact that what we should really be focusing on is what's in season. Right now, where I'm living, these are the things that are going to be the most healthy things for my body.
For thousands and thousands of years, our ancestors lived off what was available in each season. They didn't have the grocery store. They didn't have the refrigerated trucks. And so that's still in our DNA. And our bodies do work to optimal health when we honor those things. For example, some of the things are that leafy greens in the spring help alkalize our bodies and facilitate that detoxification after a winter of heavier foods. And then hydrating things like watermelon and berries and cucumbers cool our bodies and keep us hydrated even in the summertime heat. Winter squashes and the root vegetables are great ingredients for healthy and hearty stews and soups all winter long to keep us nourished and keep us full and keep us warm.
That's amazing how those things happen in the right season for what our bodies need.
God knew what he was doing.
If you can find somewhere near you that has like a local CSA or farm share that you can support and get those fresh local fruits and vegetables as fresh as you can within maybe a 30-mile radius of your house, that's going to benefit you so much. And if the grocery store is the best place, that's great too.
Really do the best you can.
What really blew my mind when I learned about this whole system was that there's actually a specific grain for every month, just like there's better fruits and vegetables for every month.
I know that what I eat affects me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When I eat, because, I do sometimes, those really heavy, fatty, sugary foods, I don't feel well mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But when I am eating my fruits and vegetables and my grains, it's really nourishing my body. It makes all the difference all around.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why grains make us feel so good if they're eaten correctly. And that's something that we're going to talk about because there's a lot of carb fear going around, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let us explain to you a little bit about why grains are so amazing.
Grains are seeds. It reminds me of the movie A Bug's Life, where he's talking about how this one little seed turns into that amazing big tree. That's what all of our grains are. They're this little tiny packet that then can multiply 1,000,000 times over.
That's just full of all that energy.
Full of all that life and full of all that energy. They have a life force. We find it so much more abundantly in the grains than we do even in the fruits and vegetables, because the fruits and vegetables are the result of the seed or the grain, where the grain has got all of that inside of it. They're full of vitamins and minerals and all the enzymes that we need in balance. We often hear grains called the staff of life. A staff is what shepherds use to guide their sheep. The staff was used for several things in the ancient world. It was used as a walking stick. It was used to bring the little lambs to the shepherd, and it was used to fend off the wild animals.
Well, that's a lot of uses for a staff.
To bring things in and to keep bad things away and for support. So if we think of that in terms of our grains, it's helping us keep out the bad things, bring in the good things, and support us in everything that we do.
Oh, I love that tie-in.
Grains are made up of different parts. In the whole seed, it's covered in a hull, but we often don't see that part. That part comes off in the threshing process or the harvesting process. We have the bran. And often when we buy grains today, they have polished it or pearled it and have taken off the bran. The bran is where we are getting our fiber and our B vitamins. It's so important to include. Once it's been removed, it makes our white flours. We're not getting that fiber. We really need that germ and the bran as part of that whole seed. When we store grains, we store them in their whole form and then crack them or grind them as needed.
That's amazing to me how long grains can be stored. They've done excavations of ancient Egyptian ruins and tombs and all that stuff. And they find jars of grains that are still good, that they will literally still sprout. That life energy that you talked about is still in the grains after thousands of years, that they don't go rancid until they're ground up and the oils are kind of released.
It's not really practical to grind flour every time we need flour for something. I like to grind a bunch all at once, and then I put them in bags and I store them in the freezer. And that helps maintain that oil and not let it go rancid as fast. When we are reaching for those grains, because we know we want them in our diet, having this plan to rotate through them and use all these beautiful, wonderful grains throughout the year is just so nourishing and so wonderful.
That was another fun thing for me when I found out about rotating through this cycle, is how many different grains I've been able to learn to use. However, a lot of times when people hear about grains, they're like, big X, carbs. I don't want carbs, because in our world, there's been a lot of carb fear created. And now there's some diets out there that I'm sure you've heard of called keto or paleo, that people are jumping on these bandwagons all over the place and finding really great results. And what are they doing? They're cutting out the carbs. Well, let's talk about that for just a minute. There's a reason why when people cut out the carbs and just eat meat and vegetables, or there's even the carnivore diet, which is just animal products, the reason why people feel better is because inflammation in their systems really does go down when they cut out the carbs. Probably because the types of carbs they were eating were causing a lot of inflammation. When we think about carbs that people are generally eating in today's society, they're deep fried, like as in French fries, or white bread, white pasta, white rice, everything's white. The processed white versions of these grains, they can cause all sorts of problems, inflammation problems. So when we eliminate them, then yeah, the symptoms lessen and inflammation lessens, but we really still need grain in their whole forms. So we're talking about grains in a totally different way here. We have a really good friend who was talking to my husband about his health journey, and he's very healthy. He had gone totally paleo, cut out all the carbs from his diet, and working out a ton. So eating a lot of meat, a lot of vegetables, really disciplined with his regimen. Through a series of decisions, decided to start including grains back into his diet. But he totally included the whole grains this time. And he said he could not believe how much energy it gave him. He thought he was doing really good. After he included whole grains into his diet, he started feeling so much better. And it was then that he realized how much energy he had lost because it had been so long since he had grains. He could feel a difference right away. Grains just have that life force and that life energy if we eat them properly.
So eating them like our pioneer ancestors, where they would grow it and harvest it, and then soak it and sprout it, and then use natural leavening like a sourdough. We just have come so far away from those longer processes in order to have such quick preparation that we're unable to metabolize the grains like we should be able to if we treat them properly.
If we treat them properly, they're going to be so much better. There's also another really big problem with grains, especially in America. And it's the pesticides that we spray on grains, specifically glyphosate. Even organic growers have a hard time keeping that glyphosate off their grains because when they're being crop dusted, it just kind of spreads in the wind. People who are having issues with gluten, it could be that the grains have changed from ancient grains. It could be that they're not being soaked, but it could also be the glyphosate and the pesticides that are on the grains that are causing so many issues. So because of that, it really is important where you source your grains. Finding them organic, number one, is the best thing you can do. The second thing is to rinse them before you use them. Take that extra step just to rinse off any residue that might be on them.
If you're gluten intolerant or celiac, don't feel like this excludes you. We rotate through an entire year of grains and seeds, but only 3 of them contain gluten, and that would be wheat, barley, and rye. The rest of the months are gluten-free grains, and even on the months that we talk about and use the wheat, barley, and rye, we have alternatives for you. Being celiac or gluten intolerant is not going to rule you out for using this program of rotation. But then where do we buy these grains? You're going to see a list of grains that maybe you haven't heard of before or know what they look like. Where do you get them? And I've had good luck at my local health food store in their bulk section. I can usually find what I'm looking for there. We also have a Winco close by with bulk grains, and I can usually find them there. There's a grocery delivery system as your standard.
They deliver organic groceries you can get online and order, and there's lots of drop-off points all across the US.
We find that their grains not only are organic, but also a very good price, and you can buy them in bulk. Don't let these grains scare you when you see things like millet and flax and buckwheat and rye. Those are the ones that are less common. As we rotate through the year, we have so much more than just fruits and vegetables and grains. There's so many things we can do for our bodies. We've put all of these things together in a beautiful calendar format. We walk you through our 4 pillars of food, supplements, movement, and mindset for every single month, and tell you the things that you can best do in those 4 pillars to support the different organ systems. And you can find that calendar on our website in the store at DIYholisticsolutions.com. And when we talk about the foods, we're not saying exclusively eat these things. We're just saying keep them at your top of mind awareness and incorporate them during your month.
The amazing thing with going through every single month is that you're going to learn tons of information specifically for that month and for the organ system that is supported during that month and supported by the grains and fruits and vegetables that we eat. We've been learning these things for the last couple of years and incorporating them with our family. And so now we have a lot of really great ideas to pass on to you with each and every month and each and every grain. Today, you get this grain rotation chart. We hope you print it out, put it up.
Thanks so much for being here with us today. Please like our podcast and share it with your friends, and come back next week for another episode.